All right, the agricultural sector may well be on the lane to recovering its top spot as a major income earner for Nigeria very soon.
Now, the agriculture policy of the Buhari administration is ensuring that many Nigerians get back to the farms and that the country ultimately achieves food sufficiency.
Farmers have been getting credit on low interest. Production of crops and cereals have also increased significantly with improved seeds, while local fertilizer production has received a boost.
Now, at least 200,000 farmers in 29 states have benefited from the 43.9 billion naira released through the Central Bank of Nigeria and 13 participating institutions through the Anchor Borrowers Program inaugurated by President Buhari in 2015.
About 233,000 hectares of farmland were used to cultivate rice, wheat, maize, cotton, soya beans, cassava and groundnuts, in addition to poultry and fish farming. The administration is also supporting different state governments in the production of palm oil, rubber, cashew, cassava, potatoes and other crops.
Now, government policies on local fertilizer production has ensured that the country saved foreign exchange of more than $150 million this year and about 60 billion naira, which was previously budgeted for fertilizer subsidy.
All right, so I guess with all of the foregoing, you want to say hallelujah. Nigeria's agricultural
is back on track.
Yes, it's actually on track, but I wonder if our guest actually believes so. He's an agricultural expert at Adeniyi Sholabumi. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, you're welcome.
Are you excited about some of the information we just reeled out right now? Is it a true reflection of where Nigeria's Agric is or is going? Do we have a revolution yet?
Yes, for the last season, we don't have a revolution yet.
Okay.
You know, but for the news, the figures that are coming out, it's a good thing for me as a stakeholder, because if you've been involved in the advocacy, you'll be happy if things like this are coming out. The meaning of this is people are coming in, they are embracing agriculture, and the policy of the government is attractive to some extent. But when you talk about revolution now, for some states, we're getting revolution, because when you say revolution, you know what that means. For Nigeria, we don't have that yet. I'm happy for states like Kaduna, you know, the volume of investment that is coming into that place. The meaning for the new investment, like the Olam project, that will take a lot of youth off the street, and they will get a lot of job in that processing center. For the likes of Kebbi, the Lagos State fund money is still moving there. A lot of people are into rice there. And if you look at it, it's a good thing. We are moving gradually, but I just want to work on our policy. Let's sit down, understand this thing, and take it as a business, not the figure of thing, conferencing. And
well, talking about policy, if we have to take it from there, this is one area that's agriculturists like you have always been advocating. This policy, relax it, let people come in and all of that. And I feel that's also where to start from, because if you're talking about policy, let there be the policy, and then people who are engaged in the business will now get into the business of agriculture. But let us understand, Agric as a business. Do farmers or even the Nigerian government really understand and see Agric as a business?
Thank you.
That is one question.
Thank you very much. You see, the challenge is, it has always been a policy thing. I know the policy problem has been there, but when you talk about the business, it has always been a project thing, where you expect subsidy, you want to get loan, you get this loan, you get few thousands of naira that cannot even do anything. You get this loan, you put it in your Agric, or you spend it anyhow, you don't pay back to the government. So government have always, but when you talk about business, the first thing is we don't have the proper information about the industry. Most people don't even know the business of agriculture. Until we have the information will lead to empowerment, then the empowerment will lead now to the power that we need in terms of, because when you are informed, okay, what is the nice thing for me to do? I never know that I can do this, I can do this. The simple thing is, if you are doing it as a business, before you go into the business or any business, you need to understand the inputs and the output ratio. You need to have your business plan cut out. You need to do your SWOT analysis. You need to know, is this really cut out for me? Do I really need to do this? But because of the hype, because of, oh, there is loan, you meet a youth now, he's talking about, how do I get Agric loan? When you don't even know what to do.
Not because he's passionate about
Not because,
Agric.
fine, passion is another good thing. Passion will drive you, but passion will actually not put food on your table. You need to understand it as a business.
The know-how is also there.
The know-how is there. You don't. The valuation is massive. You don't necessarily need to be thinking about farming. When you tell somebody about agriculture, the next thing is looking at farm, mean, from. But there are a lot of things you can do along the value chain. It's so massive. But when you have the information, you process the information. For example, I might decide to go into logistics. I might decide to go into warehousing. I might decide to go into marketing. I might decide to go into processing. I might decide to go to, like for me, I'm a practical farmer. You understand? And unfortunately, the part that, because of the hype, with 300,000 naira, you can make 1 million naira, we won't go anywhere until we sit down and begin to disseminate information. And you remember last year I said, thank God for a platform like this. TVC has really been doing a lot around this. We need to advocate around agriculture. People, if you don't understand it, you can't do anything. The research institutes, our universities, what are they doing? You understand? Universities of agriculture don't even have products in the market. They don't even have products within their own jurisdiction.
So you cannot see
How
a
do you
bottle
turn
of
it to
honey,
business?
a bottle of honey,
Made
for example,
by
made by
University of Agriculture.
Exactly.
Branded and in the market. So fine, you are teaching us agri, but where is the entrepreneurship aspect of it? We call it greenpreneurship. When you fine, okay, you can do this, you can do this. How do you turn it to money? And
So
if there's no money, youth will not come.
what does government really need to do for agriculture to move away from, just on paper, a revolution on paper to revolution indeed, so that we're not just paying lip service to it?
Conducive environment, which we are getting to see more, the policy that aids private sector involvement. It can only be driven by private sector. You understand? I would say most of the time, I say federal government is actually doing their bit. Most time we say government, the first thing you are looking at is federal government. What of the state government?
And even
they are
local
the closest. Even how many lands do you have from the federal? You can't even get federal lands. You start need to processing, but I can get land from my state. You understand? So what is state A doing that state B is not doing? Until from the state level they understand that we have potential. If we take this thing and assess it very well, prune it very well, we can even get money that we forget the fund that is coming from Abuja. And Abuja will be calling you, come and take your money. Because for example, look at Lagos State. I don't know, 20 million people, go to 30 million people. Lagos State is well positioned to consume. But unfortunately, Lagos State don't sit down. They are still spending money on development. There's no land, but Lagos State government
Collaborating with other states.
Look at the Kebbi thing. Now they are partnering with other Southwest states. You understand? To say, okay, give us paddy because of our new rice processing center. This is a state that ought to the money is here.
And the market is
there. The market is here. Even those of us that farm in the village, we can't even hit the fresh, but we bring everything down to Lagos. So, but Lagos is not sitting down. That shows that the government here understand what they are into. Look at some other part. We've not been hearing anything around Agric from Ekiti. The former government in Ondo did very well with youth involvement in agriculture using the boot camping project. Now maybe the new government is trying to settle down. Nothing is coming from Ondo. Nothing is coming from Osun. Ogun State is doing the best. They are doing the best. So
it's not enough in the case of Ekiti, for example. I recall
just over the weekend I heard
that the best farmer in Ekiti was given 1 million naira.
That is within the state.
Yes.
When we are talking about revolution now, why will I go back to Ekiti to go and do Agric? Because you give somebody 1 million. This is 1 million that I can make on just have 3 plots of my pineapple farm in a day without leaving the farm.
Are you making that already?
Of course.
Wow.
Of course.
You see,
so why would
that's the knowledge. You started the vegetable something behind your house.
I just harvested a bunch of plantain from one plantain tree in my backyard.
Oh, that's
and
good.
I shared it among 7 families. Can you
didn't sell that?
Currently,
you didn't make money from it.
Currently, what we do is even try as much as possible to start selling plantain using standard measurement. Enough of saying a bunch is 500.
Yes, exactly.
And now I sell my plantain as high as 150 naira per kg. So let's say that bunch of yours is 10 kg. Multiply by 150, that's 1,005. So if I'm putting 800 of it on my 1 acre farm using 6 feet by 6 feet, 800 times 1.5, I'm looking at 1 point something million. I already know what I'm going to before I go into it.
Wow.
But I need water. I need to prepare my land. I need to get a good input in terms of soccer. I need to understand all this. Then where do I get it? So all these things will have been written out, and I'm following it. Then I'm not waiting for, oh, God will do this, God, because I've put my place. God will not come down. God is there.
Everything is God is already on ground. He's provided
so
everything.
We need to move from the way it is, and it has to come from the university developing and our institution developing, standard innovations, pass it across to the extension officer, which unfortunately they are not even there.
Anymore.
So let's take it up as youth. Let's take it up them and make business.
We are running against time now, but let me ask you this. There is this agreement between Nigeria, a memorandum of understanding, Nigeria and Morocco for fertilizer. Okay. So if we're expecting so much fertilizer from Morocco, and they're also talking about subsidizing and ensuring that local industry produce fertilizer and all of that, how will that go together? What's the implication of that?
We're expecting that until the locals facility starts in operation. But don't forget, we're having different school of thoughts recently. Organic farming, which I support so much, sustainable agriculture and this. But when you want to talk about commercialization, you need this input. The level of your input will determine your output. For example, cassava, we are doing like around 5 tons, 10 tons, 15 tons. Most people don't even know how many tons they are getting. When in other clan, they are getting as high as 50 tons per hectare. So the same energy, the same size of land, but the output, you understand? So we actually need these things. But the thing is, how do you get it to those that need it? I wouldn't want them to send it
unfortunately, we don't have enough. We've not even scratched the surface. In addition to the agreement you talked about, there's the Bank of Agriculture MOU with the Chinese company that is meant to just catalyze
we need all those things.
The whole sector.
We need all those things, but the thing is, let us.
I'm sure we'll bring you back to tell us even more, educate us, enlighten us even more. This guy is a millionaire.
Thank you very much.
He's an agricultural expert. Simply put, he's a farmer.
Yes, millionaire farmer. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you.